I'm glad the sun's shining because it got probably 39 last night, and I left my greenhouse door open, and I have a heater in there, so it's not running, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Yep, it's been running. It's hot. Yikes. I'm paying electric bill for it to just run out. I give them 3 scoops of food during the daytime, because if I give them food in their automatic feeder, they will eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And you're out again. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Okay. So, I have this that I keep. It's apple cider vinegar. And I keep this down. I usually keep it in that can over there, where I keep the extra food, but I put it in their water because I noticed that a couple of them had messy butt, and I heard one I guess last week doing it sounds like a cough or a sneeze, and I guess maybe because they're cooped up in here. I usually free range them, but because I have so many spring flowers, I want to protect them. I'll let them out again as things come up and get a little bigger, because they like the fresh shoots of everything. It's like that elephant ear right down there. They will pinch off every little bit of it until finally at some point it'll get big enough, and then they won't eat it. So I have to protect my plants out here. This banana tree has a cage around it. I tried to keep the stalk as tall as possible, because when that was first coming up, they were just completely killing it. There was one right here before this windmill was here, and they ate it all. That's why this one is in a cage now. Also, you can't see it, but there is a banana tree under it, but they completely devoured it. And I put this peach tree in here. I picked it up. Somebody had thrown it out on the side of the road, and so I just planted it in here, and it really doesn't get a ton of sun here, so I don't know if it... Oh, look at here. As I'm saying that, look at that little green. Yep. So it's going to be viable. I'll probably cut this big stalk off, and maybe that one too, and just let this one branch shoot up. That is really exciting. Cool. So I've planted different things. There's an elephant ear there that'll come up, but you see how big this one is. I just let that grow, and you see how they've dug all around it, and there's little eyes on it all over where it's going to come up. So this right here is called henbit, and it's edible, so you can actually eat this. And because this has been growing, I probably won't eat this one, because you see it looks like mold on it. But this is chickweed, and you can also eat that. And then clove you can eat right here. You can eat that. So I have henbit in my yard, and usually henbit, after it's warm enough, because we get really warm here, it will die off. The clove The chickens absolutely love that, but it's also really good for us to eat. It tastes like lemon. It's a really awesome flavor. But all of this stuff you could use to put on a salad, or, you know, just eat it if you were out foraging. And you see there's a bunch over here that's gotten some damage, so I'm guessing there's some kind of bug that's been over here. Slugs, snails. It probably would be good to let the ducks in here, but I don't want them, they'll munch on everything. And so I definitely would not let my chickens in if you still have things growing that you want. But you see that worm right there? Yay! Hello. That's what we want. Really good soil. And each time you pull weeds, make sure that you're getting all the dirt that you can off of them, so that you're not taking your soil and then you just have to replace it. And if you're gonna keep your chickens locked up, make sure that you're giving them some kind of green, because they really need that, especially if you want a lot of egg production. So this is a good specimen of chickweed, and make sure that you get the roots all the way down, because otherwise it will spread. And this, let's see if we can find the root. And so that right there, it doesn't look too bad. I think I got some dirt in there, but kind of an asparagus flavor. So this clover looks pretty clean. Ooh, that's very lemony. Oh, make sure you know what you're eating, and make sure that you know that it has not been sprayed. Don't go to a park or someone's yard and pick out of their yard, because if they've sprayed any kind of chemicals on it, you would be eating those chemicals. I know that my yard and my garden is free of all of that, because we haven't sprayed anything for at least 4 years on it. So, and even if it's been sprayed within 2 years, I probably wouldn't eat things out of the yard. And so these weeds, as some people call them, I like to call them wild foods. These wild foods are good for you. I mean, I don't eat them constantly because I have other food to eat, but if I needed to, it is good to know what you can eat in the wild. And also, it's good to know, say if your body needed a lot of vitamin C, clover has a lot of vitamin C. And I mean, even food you grow, beet leaves are rich in all kinds of nutrients, and a lot of people just don't eat those. You can eat the greens off the broccoli. You can eat the broccoli when it starts going to seed. You can eat it when it is seed. You can eat it when it's flower. So there's a lot of potential in the yards to eat things. And I've talked about before that mustard is not one of my favorite foods. I don't really enjoy eating it, but with the mustard, if I let it go to seed, which I will, then I love mustard, and I love grainy mustard, gritty mustard, the ones with the seeds in it. And so that's something, just figure out there are different plants that you can eat in all sorts of different ways. You don't just have to eat them the traditional way. And also, just plant things. Even if you don't like it, plant it, because if you have chickens, it's free food for the chickens. If not, it's free food for the birds and the wildlife that are around. We are clearing the land, but we're also leaving room for the wildlife. There's plenty of things for them to eat, and I'm also planting things over there that if they want to eat, need to eat, they're welcome to. And just like this area right here, when we cleared all of this out, all of this brush right here was around the pond, and we had a ton of wild birds that came and hung out right here. And so what we did was we took it, and instead of burning, which, I mean, there's also reason to burn. We have a burn pile over there right now, but it's also good to keep some of the vegetation. So we put this in here the way it is, and the birds can still get in. They can hide from the predators. They can find food. There's little fish in there. There's tadpoles. There's all sorts of things. And so what we're trying to do is work with nature and not completely come in and level it and, you know, plant grass or something that is unusable for everyone. These flowers, these see, I planted gladiolas right there along the bank, and then I planted those elephant ears, and I planted ranunculus over there, and I planted another flower along the bank, and of course I'll plant more. Over on that bank I planted canna lilies and poppies and zinnias, and you know, the gladiolas will bring in the hummingbirds, and we just get all kinds of wild birds that come, you know, migrating through here. And so we get the heron that comes in the winter time. We get the mergansers, and so we get the kingfisher in the winter time. And so I just want to keep this a habitat for animals while also being able to enjoy it for ourselves. I hope you have a light-filled day, and thank you for